Hey guys, welcome. Number 5 in our chakra tune-up series. Today we're going to focus on the throat chakra. If you have a couple of blocks, I would have those handy. If you don't, no worries. Also, a blanket or a throw pillow, just something to sit up on to elevate your hips a little bit, can be really nice. We're going to start seated. So, especially if when you sit down on the ground, any cross-legged position, you feel like your back really tends to round, then I recommend just giving yourself a little height, and that can be a throw pillow, something like that from the couch. I'm sitting up on a block. You can grab a blanket, anything like that. Okay, and then just let yourself get situated. Whatever for your legs, like cross-legged position for your legs feels good. And then go ahead, close your eyes. Bring your hands to your thighs, palms down or palms up, see what feels better. And then just take a moment to feel into your seat. Where does it feel connected and grounded to begin? Right, so even as you start to work up the body within the chakras, that we always still take that moment to connect, right, to the base, to the root chakra first. You know, that everything builds from there. And so you might even shift the weight to one side or the other, find the place that feels balanced. And then even feel where your pelvis is here, right? So that we want to have that little bit of natural curve into the low back. So it doesn't feel like your back's rounding and hunched when you sit, but you elevate enough to give it some length and some of its natural curve, because that really affects how we sit then all the way up the spine from there. And then give your shoulders a little squeeze back towards your spine. Doesn't have to be huge, just a little space through the chest. Let the tops of your shoulders drop away from your ears. And then just notice where your head is, right? What is the natural tendency? Is it for the chin to jut forward or back? Right? Sometimes we sit naturally with the chin dropping down towards the chest, or the opposite, right? With our chin tilting up. And see if you can get a sense of where your head is in space. And then start to find the place that feels even, where your ears are stacked right over your shoulders, right? So they're not far forward or back. And that your chin feels parallel to the ground, that you're not tilting up or down. Right? Especially with all the time that we spend on our devices, the position of our head and how we hold it there can really affect the space at the throat chakra, right? That we might be compressing one side or the other, and limiting how the energy can move there. We just work towards finding that place that feels aligned. And then once you have that, imagine someone had their hand to the back of your head and just give a gentle, really gentle little press back. So you're not going to move the head, but you feel the spine engaged to sit tall, and so that there's some support. It might feel a little different from how you normally sit and hold your head. Great. And then just take a few full breaths. If it feels good to take a couple breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, do that. And just start to create that space to align the spine, which then we know helps the energy to move through all of those energy centers, each individual chakra. And we'll start to find a little bit of movement here with your breath. So keep your shoulders back and down, but on your next exhale, let your chin drop down towards your chest. And then as you inhale, bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. A couple times with breath. Inhale through center. And then exhale, left ear, left shoulder. So just start to find that rhythm through center. Inhale to your right. Back through center to the left. So we start to massage around that area of the chakra. Open up a little space on the back, on the sides. And the next time you come to your right, stay there. You can walk your left hand off to the side, and it might give you a little bit more space there. And then one other option is you can place your right hand towards your left temple. And the idea here isn't to pull or force anything, but just to give it a slight little bit of weight or traction. Stay long and tall through your spine. And let your ear fall towards your shoulder. You might even find a little bit of movement here as you make micro movements with the chin until you find that one place that feels really good. Take a breath or two there. And then use your right fingertips, help your head back to center. Both hands down to your lap, drop your chin towards your chest. And then left ear, left shoulder. Okay, stay. Maybe your right fingertips walk off to the side, right? All just options. You might say that right here is plenty for your neck. Right? And then maybe left hand, top of your head. Well, really more towards right ear or right temple. And if that feels like not the great choice, let it just rest. Let your hand rest. Right? A couple little micro movements with head and neck till you find the sweet spot there. And then once you find that, couple breaths. And use your fingers, help your head back to center. And then just do one more, chin towards chest, a nice big roll to each side. Inhale, ear to shoulder. Exhale to center. Ear to shoulder, inhale. Exhale, chin towards chest. Lift your head up, come onto tabletop, hands and knees. Once you get there, just take a moment to stack here so that shoulders are over wrists, hips over knees, spread wide through your hands, and then give a little grip through your fingertips. Okay, a few rounds of cat-cow. So as you inhale, arch your back, tilt your chin up, look forward, and then exhale, draw your chin towards your chest, press your hands down and round through your back. And start to move that with your breath. Inhale, arch your back, look forward. So you're not throwing the head back, then gaze just forward. And then exhale, round and draw chin in towards chest. And to start to match that movement, your breath. Right? And there's so much happening with cat-cow between the pelvis and the whole spine and the shoulders. See if you can keep the attention here on that area of the throat chakra, right at the center of your throat. And then as we come through these cat-cows, that you're opening the front, right, and then compressing the front, opening the back, just with that action of chin in or head forward. And we'll work with this alternating, open the front, open the back throughout this short little practice today, right? Because as we've talked about that, we give energy from the front side of the chakra, but we receive from the back. So we really want to make sure we have balance on both of those. Just come back to center. Find a little tone through your belly. Walk your fingertips forward a few inches and then press back, down dog. And if it feels good, just take a little movement in your first down dog. Do that. Settle in. Bending knees. Wiggle heels side to side. The color for the throat chakra here is blue, a little bit more of a lighter blue. And the sound, the mantra here for the throat chakra is hum with an H, H-A-M. And as you're ready, come back to stillness in your down dog. Root through your hands, lengthen your hips back. Full breath in. And then full breath out. Inhale, lift to your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, walk, step, or hop front of your mat. Get strong through your legs, root down. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. And then pause here. You can have hands to blocks or mat or even shins for support. And notice where your head is here. Just like when we were seated, right? We don't want to be tilting chin up or tucking all the way in. Find length all the way up the spine. Good. And then exhale, fold. Let's do a couple times like that and just notice where your head aligns. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And then stretch out through the crown of your head. Exhale, fold. Inhale, one more time, lift and lengthen, long through the sides of the neck and the front and the back. Exhale, fold. This time with your inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Align head, right, over neck, over shoulders. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge, fold forward. Lift halfway, take a breath in, think chin in neutral space, right? Everything's open and elongated. Exhale, fold, hands down, step back, plank. Full breath in. Plank's a good one where we often tuck our chin, so crown of your head forward. And then exhale, bent knees or straight legs come all the way down. Untuck your toes. Inhale, lift up, cobra pose. And then pause, right? For some of us, cobra is going to be a little lower. For some, maybe a little bit higher. But can you focus on that same thing? So often when we come into back bends, we tilt the chin up just to back bend. So keep the back of your neck long, right? Think long through the sides of the neck and front and back. Good. Lower all the way down. Stretch back, down dog. Take a full breath in. Big breath out. Inhale, lift to your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, walk, step, or hop. Root your feet. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Long neck. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Let's do one more like that. Sweep up, inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Halfway lift. Root through your feet as you stretch out through the crown of your head. Think back of your neck long. Exhale, fold, and step back, high plank. Right. Sometimes we notice when things get challenging, the chin drops towards the chest. Just notice what your tendency is as we practice. And then lower all the way down. And tops of your feet down. Cobra pose, inhale. Right. Notice here, opposite, does the chin tilt up to try and back bend. And stay long through all sides of the neck, the throat, to keep that space open. Good. Lower down. Stretch back, down dog. I'm going to take a full breath in. Full breath out. This time, inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, step all the way through. Bring your left knee down to the mat. Inhale, bring both arms up overhead, Anjaneyasana. And then take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. I really like to keep a little bend in the elbows here. It softens it. And then you can also traction your elbows apart from one another. Set a firm foundation, squeeze your legs in. And then find a little tone through your low belly for support. From there, maybe the hips start to soften forward a little bit more, really just where you can keep that support. Okay, and then with that traction of the elbows, start to reach your knuckles down and lift your chest up. So we start to find a little bit of back bend here. But like that cobra, watch where your chin is the tendency to just lift the chin. And I'll invite you to play with this. I'm going to do something we don't usually want to do, right? Make a double chin. So think about drawing the chin back and that the lift comes from the center of the chest up so that you might feel there the back of the neck stays a little longer. And we'll play with this a couple times. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, hands to your mat. Shift your hips back. Ardha Hanuman, half splits. And you can wiggle right heel forward a little bit. You can grab blocks for under your hands if you want a little bit longer arms. And then press down into your right heel. Traction it back. And then you can start to walk your hands forward. Find the right amount of forward fold for you. Okay, but what I'm going to invite you to do here is let your head drop. Actively draw your chin in towards your chest and feel that space now all the way at the back of the throat. Right, so this chakra, it really rules communication. Right, a few other things we'll talk about, but that for me is one of the big primary things here. And we need to have challenging conversations when we're really working to speak what's true. We tap in here to throat chakra. Next, inhale, come forward, bend your knee, lift your back leg, step back, down dog. Switch sides, left leg up, inhale. Step through, exhale. Okay, right knee down. Inhale, both arms up. And then exhale, sweep your arms behind your back. Words today are funny. Interlace your hands the other way. Little bend in your elbows. Squeeze your legs to center. Tone your belly. And then as you traction your elbows apart from one another, let your hips start to settle forward. And that might be like a millimeter. You might find a little bit more opening there. And then stretch your knuckles down and start to lift your chest up, right? So we invite the back bend in. Right? Notice what the head wants to do, because it always feels like it gives more back bend when just the head goes back, right? Because the neck has a lot of range of motion. So instead of throwing the head back, can you just draw the chin back? Then from the center of the chest, lift up. And imagine again like that hand at the back of your head press back, right? So we activate the strength and the support around that chakra in that way. And both arms up, inhale. Hands down to your mat, exhale. Send your hips back, Ardha Hanuman half splits. Maybe wiggle your left heel forward, maybe blocks, right? Set it up for what works for you. With strong leg, press your heel down, traction back. And then just give yourself a little length as you stretch the crown of your head forward. Then draw your chin in towards your chest. And so we're working that space again, open front of the throat, then open back of the throat. Right, this area, truth, trust, and being able to speak that. Inhale, come forward, bend your front knee. Plant your hands, step back, down dog. Okay, we're gonna go back to the first side, right leg up, inhale. Step all the way through, exhale. Warrior one this time, so take a little step in, ground your back heel. Inhale, come all the way up. And as you exhale, bend your front knee and take your hands behind you. So you might do fists together. That's a really nice variation. If you have range of motion in shoulders and wrists for reverse prayer, great, do that. If not, fists are great. Hug your legs in. Draw your outer right hip back and tone your belly. And then squeeze your shoulder blades back and think again, double chin here. And you can even play, just notice the difference. What does it feel like when you tilt your chin up versus drawing the chin back and then lifting and rounding from the chest and shoulder blades coming back? Right? For me, sometimes it just feels a little bit more integrated, like I'm opening that area with a lot of support as opposed to just kind of throwing it open. Okay, inhale, release, reach both arms up. And then exhale, fold forward pyramid, another great place for blocks. All right, so similar idea with a little bit more height this time around. Hug in, let your head get heavy, and then draw your chin up towards your chest. I think that throat chakra is when we can see imbalances in maybe just kind of readily with some of them with communication. Right? Someone who has an excess of energy here is someone who's very verbal, right? Talks a lot, right? If it's really out of balance, maybe an excess of talking. Whereas someone who has more of a deficiency here in energy would be really quiet and shy with their words, at least, right? We know that can show up in different places. Okay, plant your hands, step back, down dog. Second side, left leg up. Left leg through, exhale. Right, shorten the stance a little bit, ground your back heel. Inhale, come all the way up, warrior one. And exhale, bend your front knee, take hands behind. Again, fists or reverse prayer. A little squeeze of your legs in and draw your outer left hip back. Okay, lift your belly. Lift your chest up, draw your chin back, right? And then think about pressing your head back. So that coil of the back bend comes from the whole spine, feeling lifted and integrated. Inhale, reach both arms up, straighten your leg. Exhale, fold forward, pyramid. All right, so let your head get heavy first. So it lengthens the whole spine. And then draw your chin up towards your chest. Let's notice what that does for the back of the chakra, maybe your whole back too, but take a few breaths. Right. When are situations it would be helpful to tap into this energy? When do you find yourself a little deficient here? And sometimes when do we feel the excess? Lift halfway, inhale, take a big step forward. And then exhale, malasana. So take your feet out wide enough, bend your knees, squat. You can always sit up on a block. You can place a pillow behind your knees too. Good. Draw your hands to heart center. And then for this one, go ahead again, let your chin drop in towards your chest. Take a few breaths. And the relationship here with trust, I find interesting, the connections I make is that sometimes when I either talk too much or not enough, it's because I may not trust in what I have to say, right? That the communication's not going to come across well, or that I don't trust maybe the interaction that I'm in. And so this whole balance of how we communicate, what feels true to us, but also where we can trust it. And release your hands, have a seat. Again, if it felt good to sit up on blanket, block, height, we'll just take a last moment or two here, as we've been doing, seated meditation. You can always lay down if that feels good. And anchor your seat, align your spine, align your head on top of your spine. Good. So in these last few moments, as you settle into your breath, you may bring about the color blue and tune into the chakra in that way. You may think the mantra hum with an H, hum. And you may just feel into that alignment of your throat chakra when it's open, front and back, side to side. And how that might feel different as you hold it the rest of the day. Especially if we do computer work, devices, that tends to change that. And where can you create the space and the support for that chakra to give, to receive, to stay open? And just take a few more breaths. If you have time to stay longer, please do. If you're ready, you can bring hands to heart. Take a bow in, head to heart. Thank you again for sharing the practice. Namaste.